Hello, it's me again. My name is Joe, and I'm an alcoholic, well, and a drug addict, and lots of other things that I haven't discovered yet. But I'm sure I will. Thankfully, there's a, there's a 12-step program for people like me. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that's the only way. I'm not, a guru. I'm not a guru or well, I'm not anything actually. I'm just somebody that is sober one day at a time and clean and doesn't want to use. I'm not battling it. I'm not holding on, by the skin of my teeth, or what, as they call it, white knuckling it. Hang on to the bottom of the chair. Oh God, please don't let me use. That's not what's happening for me. I hope you can see that. Yeah, so where to start? First of all, I was doing these videos on Facebook, and obviously, my intention was to connect with you, not to help you in any way. Let me just clear. Let's get this straight for a start. I'm 1 month sober, right? So, the idea that I might be able to help you. Obviously, I can help people that are a day clean or a week clean to let them know how I got to be a month. But there's so many people out there with long-term sobriety that my intention wasn't to help anybody before anybody jumps to the wrong conclusions and takes this in the wrong context. The point of this is to help me. So, don't get me wrong. My experience in the fellowships, and if you want to know what I mean by that, Google it. I don't want to be an advertisement for anything at all, apart from staying sober and clean. It's but I've got to say that until I can only tell you my truth. Until I went to Alcoholics Anonymous and Cocaine Anonymous, I didn't have a fucking clue what was wrong with me. That's the truth. So what am I going to do? Hide behind it and not tell you that? No, I'm not. But I don't speak for any of them fellowships on behalf of them. I'm not authorised to do that. I don't want to be authorised to do that. I'm just letting you know giving you my experience and hope, really, I guess, and courage. Let's not hide away from the word courage. I was always quite a frightened person, so to say, when people say, "Oh, you're very brave," I never ever felt I was very brave because I mostly run away most of my life. But getting clean and sober takes balls. If you're a woman, well, it takes whatever you've got. I guess I've got to start at the beginning, really. This is the first video that's going to be going onto YouTube, and I guess I've got to start at the beginning. I'm in Asia, hence I've got no shirt on. That's what you do in Asia. You don't wear clothes. Obviously, I've got clothes on. Here, look at my big belly. Look, yay! That's recovery. Yeah. So I'm taking up darts soon. I think if I carry on going for another few weeks, my belly will be big enough, so I'll be able to take up darts. Playing darts. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, so I've got to start at the beginning, ain't I, really? So this is going to be a bit of a longer video than usual. After this, I'm going to do sort of daily videos that give examples of how I've got through the day. And some days, there's not going to be much, is there? Because some days, nothing much happens externally. There's not many days when not much happens internally, though. So that's what I'm going to be sharing about. Not the outward, the inward, i.e. the old bit of 4x2, the old bit of mahogany. Yes, my name is Joe, and I am an alcoholic and a drug addict. What does that mean? There's so many people out there that can that have got answers for it. I got into let me just, before I start, I just got into a conversation with somebody on Facebook who was saying about rehabs and this and that, and don't get me wrong, I'm not here to criticise anything, just tell you my experience. I've been to rehab, that's why I can talk about it. The thing is, all I really learned in rehab was about AA. Yes, we spoke about my feelings and the damages. In fact, we spoke about them so many times that in the end I believed that was the reason for my alcoholism. and drug addiction was my childhood. And whilst my childhood was mixed, it was great at times. You know, love my parents, fucking good people. My dad drank a bit too much when I was young. You know, got a bit out of order. But you know, hey, that was the era. You know, I'm not condoning it. I'm minimalising it. I was frightened as a result. But at the end of the day, I've moved on from that. How have I done that? I'm going to explain that in the videos to come. But you know, it was convenient for me to blame everything on that. And so when I went to rehab and they started saying, you know, well, tell us about each other, I thought, oh, obviously this is what the problem is, you know. And I've got news for you. It's not. It's got nothing to do with it at all. Nothing. It exacerbated the problem. There's a long word. I should do that all the way through these videos. I should frame long words, make you think I'm clever. No, I won't. Yeah, it exacerbated the problem. Made it worse. But it wasn't the cause. Categorically not. It's not possible, and I'll explain why. So, you know, come from a childhood with fear, hiding my emotions. In those days, we were taught not to share our feelings at all. You know, that was just how it was. You know, you know, just stay stum. That's how it was in my house. Never said nothing to nobody about nothing. So what I learned to do was hide my emotions. You know. Yeah, sorry about that. I guess you realised then that there was a pause. That's so I could make a coffee. Should have been prepared, but you know, I'm a month clean, not 1,000 years. Anyway, so yeah, so I learned how to hide my feelings. That's the first thing. Secondly, I couldn't stand being in reality. You know, as a kid, I'd always be in school, looking out the window, you know, thinking, oh, I wonder what they're doing over there. You know, well, it could have been anywhere I was looking, really, anywhere other than where I was, you know. I mean, what a mixture. You're frightened, you don't talk about anything, you're hiding your emotions, you want to be somewhere else, you can't sit still. I mean, those, you know, nowadays they call it ADHD or whatever it is. Mate, I had every ADH doo-doo, or whatever it was, CB, do, OC, fucking whatever. Painful. Couldn't sit still, couldn't concentrate, didn't want to be where I was, didn't want to be when I got to somewhere else where I thought I wanted to be, I didn't want to be there either. Couldn't be in the moment, it was always in the past or the future. Frightened. Yeah, fuck me, I mean, Jesus. It's any wonder I made it through it all, really. And the thing is, what I thought I'd do, you know, I've got a good idea. God, I've said that so many times in my life, and it's always led to disaster. I've got to be honest. Don't get me wrong. This ain't about poor old me. I know. I'm not a bad person. I'm not saying I'm a bad person. This ain't about good or bad. This is about sick and well. Just so you know, this ain't about getting good. It's about getting well. You know, if I was waiting to get good, I'd be fucked. Because you know, I'm not good at times. I'm fucking horrible. That's the truth of it. I am. You know. Anyway, getting back to the point. So, what I decided to do was run away from my situation. So I got a job working in Germany, and went to the interview in school uniform. Pretended it was a suit. I don't know if you've seen kids in school uniform, like a bag of rubbish tied up in the middle, didn't they? I was no different. Turned up to the interview, tore the badge, the school badge, off the blazer of the uniform. Pretended it was a suit. Went to the interview. It was a group interview with 40 or 50 people, all standing up. Like grown-ups. I was 15. I was supposed to be at school that day. At that moment, I was supposed to be in my class. I wasn't. I was at the interview pretending to be 18, and I got a job. And I stood up. Everyone stood up and said, you know, what they'd done in their life. Of course, I'd done nothing, could I, at that age? So I lied as usual, and pretended. And I took a bit from all of them. So by the time it came to my turn to stand up and talk about myself, I was a hang glider, a parachute jumper. I was a white river rafter, whatever the fuck it's called. You know, I was a mountaineer. I was an explorer. Fucking hell. People's eyes were getting wider and wider and wider. Anyway, the job was selling vacuum cleaners in Germany. Needless to say, I got the job because I was the biggest liar there. And so off I go to Germany. You know, I mean, I think my parents let me go because I was getting in so much trouble. It was only a matter of time before I ended up in jail, or Balsall, they used to call them, for young offenders. So off I go to Germany. And when I get there, I'm surrounded by other people that are running away from life, desperados, as my boss would call them. And I mean, I even stood out amongst them. He said to me, fuck me, he said, there's something wrong with you, boy. He said, you're fucking nuts. I remember walking through the streets of Mannheim, near Frankfurt, at 16 years old, with a great big 6 foot wide Union Jack, England flag, draped over my shoulders, urging the Germans to come out of their house for a fight. What's that about? Pissed, drunk, you know, singing Royal Britannia. I mean, what's that about? I was only 16. I was trying to relive the fucking war. I wasn't even alive during the war. There you go, you see, harbouring resentments. Anyway, thank fuck nobody came out, because I'm not a fighter, you know. But I did have a good pair of trainers on, so I could have made me exit. Anyway, started drinking, and what it did for me, there was no light bulb moment, there was no eureka moment. Sorry about, you know, all you dramatists. Maybe that's true for you, I don't know, it's not true for me. What happened was, I must have realised that when I drank, I sort of could escape my emotions. I shut down for a little while, and that's what I always wanted to do. My favourite saying was, I just want to blow a few cobwebs away. Blow a few cobwebs away. Fucking hell, what's a fucking statement? You know, that's not what I did at all. What I did was I shut down, because I couldn't deal with my head. It wasn't the external situation. I mean, some of them weren't, you know, as a kid they weren't, but I wasn't drinking then. You know, I had a sack full of resentments hanging. I used to carry around me like a big bag of fucking scrap metal over my shoulder. A sack of resentments. Imagine it, a sack of resentments. Didn't even know I had them. I'd come out of the house in the morning, someone cut me up in the traffic, and instantly I'd turn to rage. Not anger. No, this is beyond anger. This is rage. So I'll fucking burn your house down, I'll burn all your children. Jeez. Toxic, poisonous, horrible, painful, you know, tiring, exhausting, fruitless, waste of time, horrid. I didn't even know I had them resentments, to be fair. I didn't even know I had them. Didn't know that at all, just thought everyone was a CUNT. You know, that's the truth. I'm going to try not to swear in these videos, because I know there's women, and I'm trying to be respectful, but remember, just take into account, I'm a month clean. I'm not the Dalai thingy. You know, nor do I want to be, to be fair. I mean, what's he do all day? I'm only joking. You know, all the Buddhists, it's all right for them to sit on a mountaintop, isn't it? You know, drying their t-shirt with the power of their mind. I mean, you know, it is a hot country. T-shirts do dry. But anyway, yeah, so I'm not that anyway. But so drink come along and then after that drugs, you know, and they say that marijuana is a gateway drug. I mean, I wouldn't have cared. I would have gone straight to heroin if it would have been available. I wouldn't have given a fuck. Just something to shut my fucking head up. And yeah, what happened was by the time I wanted to stop, I couldn't. I can dress it up in as many different. I can, you know, I had some good. I'd say I had some good times. I hear people saying that. The jury's out for me on that comment, because they were all leading to, you know, incomprehensible demoralisation. And when I say incomprehensible, unless you felt it, that total feeling of utter despair and having no way out, and then, you know, your very life becomes a painful burden to even breathe. And if you're listening to this and you're not an addict, you will not comprehend it. That's why it's called incomprehensible demoralisation, because unless you've been there, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying my problems are worse than anyone else's, I'm not saying that, but as a drug addict and an alcoholic, mate, it's harsh. It's harsh. You know, but the thing is, so one might say, well, why do you carry on then? You know, just say no. Yeah, insane. it's an insane statement. Just say no. It's not an insane statement coming from a normal drinker. They think, well, I mean, that's what they do, isn't it? They go out on a Friday, have a couple of beers. If they say I do something inappropriate, they stop or moderate. The following week they will be mindful of the fact that they did that after, say, 6 beers, so they only have 5 beers. Me, I just get used to them situations, and they just get worse and worse, and I just get more and more used to them. Till in the end, anything is acceptable. The unacceptable becomes acceptable. All cliches, I know, but true nonetheless. That's why they've lasted the test of time, and these sayings, because they're true. So, fast forward, I'm now smoking crack. I've elevated my status. I promoted myself to a crackhead. Wouldn't touch heroin, because that's dangerous. There's the insanity. Plus, I thought heroin addicts were below me. So, I wouldn't take heroin. Do you think I am? Some sort of junkie? Well, yes. That's exactly what I was. And I was using any means possible to justify what I was doing. Do you know why? Because I couldn't stop. I tried everything. I changed my job. I changed my hair. Once, I even dyed my hair blonde. And it didn't go blonde, it went ginger. It was so bad, it was so ginger, and I looked so different from what I do now. When I came through the airport after being away for a few years, or 18 months from Malta, when I came through the airport, my dad didn't even recognise me. I like to say hello to my dad, he said, "Who are you?" Put sunning in my hair. I thought, that I could do with a change, and I was always doing stuff like that. I changed my house, changed my job, changed my girl, changed everything in order to try and feel different. Nothing fucking worked. It was temporary and short-lived. And by the time, I'd realised that 25 years has passed. Don't get me wrong, I've got a beautiful daughter and a beautiful son and got a great family. Don't get me wrong. I mean, if it wouldn't have been for my family, I'd be dead by now. That's for sure. For sure. And AA and then the help that I've had, obviously, I'll talk about that in a minute. But firstly, I want to say that if my family hadn't have given me hope and strength to carry on, through their love and absolute patience and tolerance, if I didn't have had them to turn to, I don't mind. So I wouldn't mind betting that I'd be dead by now. I wouldn't be making this video at all. So, and then, did they enable me? I think it's a little bit fucking rude to start calling people who love you to death and don't know anything else to do for you, to start calling them enablers. How disrespectful. I could never ever call my family that. Ever, because they didn't know what to do. They just didn't want to lose their son, their brother, their dad. I'm alive, thanks to you lot. So, as I said, fast forward, I'm now smoking crack and robbing people with a knife. Not regularly, but enough, more than once, so that's enough. I'd had failed relationships, failed jobs. I'd always build up I was always pretty clever, so, well, I say, there's an irony. Sounds pretty clever, killing myself with drugs. You see, the thing is, this is not about, stupid or clever. It's not about that. One reason I said that is that I'd always be able to get jobs and, plenty to say for myself, and I'd bowl in like, giving it the big one. Wouldn't be able to maintain it though, because I could only keep up that facade for so long, and then the real me had come out, the frightened, dishonest, resentful, angry, jealous, insecure, neurotic little fucker would come out and start having it, start dancing. So, yeah, I mean, it wasn't a complete disaster. I've seen some beautiful places. I've lived all over the world. Sometimes it was to do with my wanting to run away and move, trying to outrun myself. But other times it was because I wanted to see these places, and I have seen them, and I've learned lots of different things, and I've met some great people. I've met some arseholes, as we all do. I spend less time now though around arseholes because I can spot them. When I say arseholes, what I mean is unenlightened people. I don't mean I'm enlightened. What I mean is they're so unenlightened that they're just still treating each other like that, and I don't want to be around people like that. Mistreating each other. I don't want to be around people like that. I'm fortunate. I've got a lot of friends who are trying to improve themselves on a daily basis, and I like being around them people. Because they're moving in the direction I want to be in one day. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing. So, let's get down to the nitty gritty. Yeah, so I end up in a meeting. I mean, I went to a meeting because my mum said she wouldn't buy me no more crack unless I went, and I thought, I know what I'd do. I go to the meeting, and when it doesn't work, I'll come up and say it hasn't worked, can I have the money for the drugs now? Anyway, I went to the meeting, and there were people crying in the meeting. Firstly, I put on my best clothes, because that's what you do when you're a crackhead, dying of crack cocaine addiction. You know, skinny as a rake, you look like you've been dragged through a fucking hedge, rash all over your face, unshaven, jittery like a motherfucker, you know what I mean? That's what you do, is put your best clothes on to impress people. I got there was women there. Now, for the last 3 years, the previous 3 years for that, I haven't been doing anything at all. Nobody wanted to come near me. I was insane. I was off my head. And when I got to the meeting, there were women there, and I thought, I'm a bit of a catch, me. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. You know, and they looked at me, the women, as you do, as humans do. You know, that's what they do. They look at each other occasionally. I thought I took their looks as tokens of love. So I thought, yeah, I know what you're thinking. Yeah. What a catch. Here he is at last, Mr. Fantastic. And there were people crying in the meeting, and I thought, this is fucking nonsense. This is fucking nonsense. They're crying. I thought, I mean, it can't be working, can it? What I realise now is they were crying because they were dealing with their emotions at certain times. They weren't all crying. Didn't go fucking everyone going there and everyone was snivelling. It wasn't Snivellers Anonymous. You know, there's a couple of people there that were getting they were overcome by their emotions because they were clean and they didn't have the drugs to deal with their emotions. So they were learning. Obviously, some days were more difficult than others, as I'm coming to realise. And so, yeah, I mean, I got home. My mum said, I said to my mum, it hasn't worked. I still need the money for the drugs. She said, no, I'm not giving it to you. She said, you've done one day, now you can do another day. And I thought, and I had that sinking feeling, you know, when someone's taking it was horrible. I desperately tried to manipulate her and to trick her and say I was going to, you know, burn myself to pieces if she didn't give me it and all that. She just wasn't having any of it, God love her. And she went out, I couldn't believe it. She's left me to deal with it on my own. Because what had happened is, you see, what she could see that I couldn't, is that I had now I firmly believed that I couldn't stop. But she knew different, because my sister had got sober, and still is. So she had an argument for me. And it didn't really matter anyway, because she went out and didn't come back till the morning. By now, I'm one day clean, completely 24 hours. And, you know, we rejoiced. We rejoiced. There's an emotional story there. I'm going to tell you it quickly, because it's important as part of my story. This video might be a bit long, this first one. But I need to get all this out, because if I don't, you're not going to get a true picture of the situation. You know, what I do quite in the habit of doing is wake my mum up in the middle of the night if the crack had run out and I couldn't handle the come down. And I just had to get her out of bed and just beg her for money, and she'd just take me because she's just so scared of what I was going to do to myself. And that's a terrible ordeal that I put her through. I'm putting that right a day at a time. But it still lives with me, you know. I'm not living in guilt before you say it. I'm just aware that just because I fucking stopped, that doesn't mean everyone else's feelings as completely recovered. You know, it doesn't mean that at all. You know, and I can get carried away with that. Oh, look at me, look what I'm doing. How can you still be angry? How can you still be? Come on, give them a fucking break. You know, these are people that love us, and we've frightened, terrorised them. And they're people that I love too, and my addiction, I'm responsible for my actions. I'm afraid I've got to take responsibility and understand that, you know, now there is a program, a solution that I don't have to do that. And when I'm saying to myself, oh, I don't know if I'll go to a meeting tonight, or I don't know if I'll do that meditation, I don't know if I'll write my diary, and I'm still guilty of it, by the way. You know, it's fucking selfish, innit? Because when I go down, man, I'm taking all the women. You know, the good news is, when I get sober and clean, I say bring everyone up. Yay! Yippee! That's the good news. You know. So anyway, what I realised was that I could get one day, and I carried on going to meetings anyway. I'm not going to go into what happened next because it involves someone else and it's not good. So there's no need to shed light on that. Needless to say, my son was born blind, special needs, and do I believe that was a result of us using drugs? I don't know. I googled it. It's possible. Do I want to sit in the possibility, or do I want to? It doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't fucking matter, does it? The end product is he's been adopted, and I can't go into that in this video because it's a different story altogether, and it's one that needs to be spoke about carefully and properly. So I will talk about it another time, but not now. This is an overview. It's not an in-depth analysis of my fucking life. You know, I want to now talk about the program, the 12 steps. Step 1, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol and drugs, and my life had become unmanageable. What does powerless mean? Well, I found myself drinking even when I don't want to. I knew I shouldn't be doing it. I knew I was going to end up in the fucking jail, or in an ambulance, or in the doghouse. You know, and I still done it. I can remember telling myself I'll only have one. Yeah. Couldn't just have one. Impossible. I'll tell you why. And this is proven, scientifically proven, by the way, before you want to start arguing and wrangling with it. And if you do want to argue and wrangle with it, that's fair enough, but just don't argue and wrangle with me, because I'm convinced already. So, I am bodily different from my fellows, my normal drinking fellows. Yeah, when they have a drink, produces, you know, boom boom, feel good. Yeah, that's not what happens to me. I've got not enough enzymes in my blood, in my system, to break down the alcohol sufficiently. So when it hits my brain, it's in a purer form than it should be, and it mutates the dopamine receptors, the receptors in my brain, the neural receptors, and it mutates, and it creates a craving that's beyond my control. That's never going to change, regardless of how long I stay sober. Regardless, I'll say it again, that's never going to change. If you've got that, it's a life sentence. Get used to it, or you're going to be dead. Or at the very best, you're going to have a fucking shit life, and you might as well be dead, because it's not a life, is it? It's not even barely a survival. Let's have it fucking right. So, when I put a drink, it causes an abnormal reaction, which is known as an allergy. An allergy is an abnormal reaction to something. I've got an abnormal reaction, an allergy to alcohol. When I drink one, it creates a craving that I cannot control, and I have to carry on. That's it. Not up for debate. That's the deal. So, most people will say, if you're not an alcoholic and an addict watching this, you're going to say, well, why don't you not have the first one then? Fucking good point. Well done, you. And I'm not being cynical or sarcastic. It's a fucking great point, and that's what you do. If you're normal, you don't do it, do you? If you every time you eat a peanut, right, or a carrot, your fucking head fucking swelled up the size of a balloon, would you carry on eating peanuts and carrots? Of course you wouldn't, would you? So why do I? Why do many people like me? Why do they? Okay, so let's talk about the second half of step 1. You know, I have an obsession of the mind. What that basically means is I have no way of dealing with my emotions. Yeah. And what happens is because I know that alcohol will numb those emotions. Yeah, fair enough. There's the next day, but I'm not interested in the next day. I'm interested in now that I can't deal with. What will happen is that obsession will come in many different forms, and it will convince me, right? It will convince me, because I want to be convinced. That's the truth. Let's not beat around the bush now. I want to be convinced that something's going to take away how I'm feeling, and it's not going to give me any consequences. Right? Even though I've only just got over the hangover I had from 3 days ago, right? And the feeling bad and everything else. But you see, the next day after a hangover, oh, I'm never doing that again. And I mean it. That's the self-deception. I meant it at the time. 3 days later, those emotions are now piling up now, because I've had 3 days with nothing to numb them. So now I'm looking for something to numb them again. My head will say, well, listen, if you don't drink vodka, if you don't drink with them, if you drink indoors, if you fucking eat before you get drunk, if you do this, if you do that, you won't end up with the same consequences over and over and over and over again. Till in the end, my life is so shit that I don't give a fuck about the consequences, because it couldn't get any fucking worse. It's a vicious circle. Yeah. So I've got an obsession of the mind that will tell me that this time it's going to be different. Or even if it doesn't tell me that. I mean, that's insanity, isn't it? Repeat. They say insanity is repeating the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I can go further than that. And why wouldn't I? I'm very clever. Yeah, right. Yeah. I think insanity is knowing what's going to happen and still fucking doing it. I knew what was going to happen, roughly. I knew I was either going to end up in a jail, or end up in a fucking hospital, or end up in a doghouse. I'd lose all my money, get in a fight, having a fight with everybody else, pissing everybody else off, getting angry, harming myself, breaking my arm, leg, fucking whatever it was, right? I knew that was going to happen, roughly. I could give you a rough idea of what was going to happen, but I didn't want to look at it, you see. Oh, no. I didn't want to be honest with myself. Couldn't be honest with myself, because that would mean not drinking, and then that would mean dealing with my emotions, and I had no idea how to do that. Sounds a bit serious, doesn't it? Well, let me tell you something. When you're robbing people on a knife to buy crack on the street to buy crack cocaine, yeah, you're right. It is fucking serious. When you're cutting yourself with pieces of metal off of a crack pipe, off a tin can you've been smoking crack on, cutting yourself bits of metal because you feel so dreadful about yourself, yeah, it's pretty serious, isn't it? When you lose your son and you lose all connection with your family, and you're treating them awfully, and you've got no life, and you're not eating properly, you're not sleeping, you're frightened, you're nervous, you're anxious, yeah, it is fucking serious. You're right. You know. So, step one, I've got an allergy to alcohol. That when I have one, I can't stop. Some would say, don't have the first one. I can't do that because I've got an obsession of the mind. So I drink when I don't want to, and when I start, I can't stop. Oh, fucking dear. What am I to do? Well, I'd given up hope. I'm going to tell you now, I'd completely given up hope. I thought I'd die like this. After so many years of constantly failing, because every time I built something up, I'd smash it back down again, build it back up, smash it back down, build it back up, smash it back down. I didn't mean to do that. Did I want to die? No, I didn't want to die. Of course I didn't want to die. I just didn't want to feel like I felt. You know? So, what's it like for me today? This video ain't really for that. There'll be some other videos that I'll tell you about what I've done and what I haven't done. I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm 46 years old. I live in Asia. You know, I've been in a profession it's dubious to say the least. I'm not going into details because I'm not looking at, you know, I'm saying a confession. You know, I'm out of that. I'm getting out of that industry and getting something decent that I can be proud of. Do you know what I mean? I've got 3 sisters younger than me, good girls. I'm very lucky. Do you know, I'm extremely lucky with my family. You know, I've got good people around me. You know, I'm a decent human being. I'm just not well. You know, I'm just not very well. But I'm getting better. A minute, a second, nanosecond. What is less than a nanosecond? I have no idea. Is a millisecond a thing? Is that a thing? A millisecond? If it is, I'm getting better a millisecond at a time. You know, and sometimes it appears that I'm not. And listen to me, if you're in early recovery, like I am, I can only tell you what I've done. Go to meetings, get a sponsor. You know, put your hand up, say you're fucked. Everyone knows you're fucked anyway. Just because you've got a new pair of trainers on, the fucking suntan, please don't think people are convinced that 2 days clean you're okay. Because I used to bounce into meetings like that. How you doing? You alright? Yeah, I'm really good. Yeah, nice to meet ya. You know, I wasn't really good at all. How was I really fucking good? 2 days fucking clean after cutting myself with a bit of a tin can. Come on now. Come on, stop it. Tell the truth. You're not really good. I just wanted to fit in. I didn't want to be the one in the corner with the, you know, everyone's sharing how grateful they are. Just remember that not everybody is as grateful as they might sound. You know, it's all got to sound grateful, isn't it? Oh, you're grateful though. I'm not casting aspersions or being cynical. What I'm saying is there'll be a certain amount of people that are acting as if, fuck that. You're on the way to the grave, mate. That's my experience. You're on the way to the grave. You need to tell the truth. You have to, you must tell the truth. Frightening as it might be, there'll be no chance of recovery until you do that. I can tell you now. I'm qualified to tell you that because I've been to enough meetings to know, right? You know, and the stuff that I'm going to talk about, the 12 steps, I've took over 100 people through this work. So I'm also now qualified to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about anything I haven't done or experienced. I certainly won't. And I won't be bullshitting you. You know, this is not for that. This is not to give you some backing. It's not for that at all. Someone suggested, a few people suggested actually, that these videos could help somebody. And you know what? They're helping me. And if it help one person only, I'll be happy with that. I'll be happy if it just helps me, to be honest with you. If it doesn't help anybody, it's not my fault, is it? You know, I'm not responsible for everybody. I'm only responsible for me. You know. So this first video is, yeah, it does seem a bit full on, I know, but it's about identifying I'm a drug addict and an alcoholic. You know, what does that mean? Well, it means that I drink and I take drugs even when I don't want to, and when I start, I can't stop. If you're the same as me, then watch the next video. Yeah, and I'll tell you, show you, explain to you what I'm doing. Not what I did, what I'm doing. You know, people say it's not alcoholism. I hate this saying, but it's true. It's not alcoholism. It's alcoholism. Ism, not wasm. You know, I am an alcoholic. I'm powerless. You know, over alcohol. If you're powerless over alcohol, you'll need to find a power. I knew that. I'm not stupid. My fear was, what sort of power are they talking about? And what will I have to do in order to get it? Will I have to change? Or what will I have to change into? Will I be boring? Just, you know, is it about God? Is it about religion? Will I have to play this fucking tambourine in the Salvation Army, walking down, you know, my local high street, all people laughing at me because I've turned into a religious nutcase? No. The answer is no to all of those questions. What I'm going to do in the next videos is I'm going to show you day by day what I'm doing. You know, let me explain something to you. There's fucking hundreds of thousands of people with good sobriety. So if you don't like what I'm saying, or, you know, I mean, I can't sponsor you, right? Because you'd be sponsored by an idiot in a minute. Simple as that. I don't even ask for my elbow. That's the fucking truth. I'm being over humble or patronising, you know, beating myself up. I'm not helping you at the moment because I'm not well enough up in a physical sense of sponsoring anybody. I need to get well myself first. So, but if you need a sponsor, or you don't know what a sponsor is, or you don't know where meetings are, or you don't know what the steps are, or you don't know what anything is, message me, inbox me. I'll direct you to somebody that can help you properly. All right. Right now, I'm all right. I'm not thinking about drugs. I'm not thinking about drink. I'm not. I'm on the path. I'm on the right path, the one that leads to eventual contentment. Whereas before I was on the road that led to eventual destruction. I'll end on this. There's a story I've shared this at a meeting before when I was clean, and you know, it's not for some of you you'll have heard it many times, but I'm going to share it for somebody that hasn't heard it. It's called An Addict in a Hole. So there's this addict, an alcoholic or whatever he is, in a hole. You know, he can't get out. Yeah, and he's dying and he's ruining everyone's life, and he doesn't want to, and he's sad and lonely and he's terrified and he's stuck in You know, but he's in this hole and he can't get out. Yeah. And a rich man walks past, and the addict, alcoholic, screams out, "Please, can you help me? I'm in a hole and I can't get out." And the rich man gives him some money and leaves. And now the addict is rich, but he's still in a hole. A little while passes. A vicar walks past, member of the church. And he once again cries out, "Please, can you help me? I'm in a hole and I can't get out." And the vicar kneels down beside him and, you know, puts his fingers on him and says a few prayers and leaves him a Bible. But still he's in the hole and he can't get out. A little while more passes. A counsellor walks past. A therapist. And he's desperate now. He's at his end. "Please, I'm in a hole and I can't get out." And the therapist says, "Oh, how did you get there? Did your parents put you there?" So they talked for a bit, you know, he shared, he shouldered, and he's this, that and the other. You know. And the therapist had to leave after 50 minutes because they can't give you any more than 50 minutes. Apparently it's not good for you. And left. And still the addict is in the hole. And then when all hope, it looks like it's gone, there's no hope. The addict is in his last legs. He's on his last legs. He's resigned himself to death. A recovered addict walks past and he cries out, "Please, I'm in a hole and I can't get out." And the recovered addict jumps in the hole with him. And the addict says, "What are you doing?" "No, we're both in the hole." And the recovered addict says, "It's okay. I know the way out." See you in the next video. Stay safe, eh?